Yes, sir. Isn't that a wonderful song?
Yes.
Did y'all like that song? I went to the archives, but my man sat next to me. I thought I was bringing in something very unique. That man said, well, you know they sampled that, don't you? He said they know that. Wait a minute. That's my old song. How you be sampling? Anyway, welcome to the Leon Watkins Show. Glad to have you here. We have a very, very special guest beside of Sam. You remember Sam from last week, but we got a special guest here right now, Mr. Rob Armstrong and Jumpstart Comic Strip. Is that right? That's the name of the thing. We got it?
You got it. Hey,
we
man.
got it. How you doing?
Good. Thanks for having me, Leon. I appreciate it, man.
Oh, I'm so thrilled to have you on the show, man. This is just a godsend for me, man.
Oh, man. It's nice to hear, brother.
Because I've read your strips before, you know what I mean?
But yeah. I've been at it a while now.
Wow. Yeah,
27 years.
See, we're looking at the picture on the book. I said, this is the young fella. They said, no, he's I don't give you age, but you look older than what's on that page. I'm on that book. I'll tell you that.
I'm 54. I do hear sometimes I don't look like I'm 54. But.
Oh well, yeah, you don't. Oh my goodness. And then my engineer said, Dawn's her name. She said, ask him, is he a vegetarian? I thought you said you're going to ask him if he's available. I mean, I said, come on now. We just getting the going here, you know. She said, ask him. Okay, I'm going to ask you, are you a vegetarian?
No, I'm a carnivore.
Yeah, that's what I was telling you.
I spend 1 month a year. This is really weird, but I spend 1 month every year vegan.
Okay.
Just to clean out my
it doesn't matter. Something is in there.
Oh, she grabbed hold of that horse. So, all right, all right, man. Hey, listen. We have a young man here with us. His name is Sam Robertson, and he's he wrote a comic strip when he was in what school was this?
Morehouse College.
Morehouse. He was doing comics. So we brought him. He was here last week, so we brought him back because you're coming on.
All right, Sam, what's up, man?
Hey, what's going on, sir? I was just looking at your book. It's I've been getting a lot of inspiration already just from a few strip boards I've seen.
Oh, man, I appreciate hearing that, brother. Sam is talking about, I'm going to plug my book now, shamelessly.
Yeah, you go ahead.
Sam is talking about being inspired by Fearless, a cartoonist's guide to life, which came out in April, and it's going really, really well. It's exciting, and just hearing someone is getting something out of it like that makes that 3-year odyssey all worth it.
Wow. Mm-hmm. Well, we're going to get into it. Sam's going to be here for a while. I'm going to bring him around and ask him questions. But I want to know another level of this thing. When somebody does some things like this, which is just a genius, what is it that came over you to make you want to do this stuff like that? I mean, because comic strips, you can only do a little thing at 4 or 5 paragraphs a week.
Yeah, I do one strip every day. And by the way, I appreciate you calling me a genius, but I don't know what those qualifications are. But I will tell you, it's a wonderful career, and I'm well suited for it. I think that's what what any real career requires. You have to be well suited for it. And I spent my youth really working toward it, not just thinking about it, not just hoping for something far-fetched. It always seemed perfectly within my grasp. It seemed perfectly realistic as a little kid that I would do this. I had a mom. I lost my mom when I was 19. God rest her soul, but she was extraordinary. Her ability to convince a little kid that this is perfectly viable, and no one else did that. I mean, even people who saw that I had talent, no one said, yeah, one day you're going to be in a newspaper. You're going to have books and stuff. Like, nobody except her. I grew up without a father. But I'm from a big family, though. And, like, nobody other than my mom said, this is not just perfectly realistic, but I'm going to send your stuff to, like, when I was 10 years old, she was sending my stuff to, like, major publicists. Of course, they were rejecting it. They're like, get out of here. You know what I mean? But she was like, they don't get it. One day they're going to be sorry. Like, completely convinced that these scribbles that she was sending off to Random House and Scholastic and stuff, she was convinced. And it convinced me. It worked. Whatever she was doing, it worked. By the time I was 17, I had stuff published in Philadelphia Tribune. It was a major step,
By the time you were 17.
Yeah.
And your mother, we read some parts of the book. David, my producer that you've been talking to, and I give him credit for bringing you here.
Oh, thank you. Thanks, man.
Okay.
David's good.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
It's something here about you earned stars from your mother each time you created a cartoon?
Yeah, she would write a star on it. I mean, it sounds like a small thing, but parents who are listening to this broadcast have to understand the importance of giving your child encouragement, recognition, and in addition to that, a really strong push, very strong push. What I mean by that, she wasn't like a pie in the sky idealistic woman. I mean, my mother had a rough life, man. And it cost her. She died young. She died in her 40s. And she pushed me out of what was comfortable. I began attending an extremely challenging private school where I was one of just a handful of black kids and almost no boys. It was a predominantly girls boarding school. And she pushed me into that environment long before I was ready. I failed. I always jokingly say that 7th grade was the worst 2 years of my life. I wasn't quite ready for all that, you know what I mean? It was an environment that I had never seen, not even on television. So I was like really what they call a fish out of water, and I was just gasping for air. And in addition to that, I would come back to Philadelphia, to my neighborhood, and receive really strange treatment from my black friends just for being out there all day like that, just for going to that school. But my mother didn't care about how uncomfortable any of this was for me. She didn't care about how uncomfortable it was for her to put this bill. In fact, they offered her a full scholarship for me. She rejected it, insisting on working to earn a partial tuition, which is crazy. I mean, to me, it's crazy. I believe me, trust me. I mean, I'm a successful person, but if somebody offered me a full ride for one of my kids, I would take. Didn't believe in comfort as something that would help you to excel. She just was one of a kind, just one of a kind. She didn't live to see. She didn't live to see me make it. You know what I mean? Like, you know, she died. I was still in. Actually, I just finished high school. I just finished that school. But she did live to see me graduate, and then she graduated from Lincoln University, got her master's. Same time as she passed. Like, cancer came and got her. You know what I mean? It was awful, just awful. But I want to bring the show down. She is the reason I have a book. She's the reason I have self-confidence. And she's the reason I had the fortitude to accept God into my life. Ironically, I almost hate to say this. This is the first time I'm saying this in any interview. I don't believe I would have achieved extraordinary things if she had lived a long life. And I think that her role was to be this brief, shining inspiration, and that I would have something to work toward because she had done so much to get me prepared and ready and all that. And I just had so much love and gratitude to my mom. I know everybody does. I mean, it goes almost without saying, but this entire book is called Fearless, not because of me being fearless, but I felt that she was fearless.
Wow. Man, that's fantastic. It really brings life to where it's supposed to be on that level.
Right.
And I can understand what you said about your mother.
Thank you.
Things, you know, that's really something that be able to put it into words and affect everybody in the room here. So, because all of us have our own unique experiences, but to be able to add something to it, you know.
Oh, yeah.
Sam is saying he has a question for you.
Okay.
I was just thinking about something. I mean, honestly, usually what I ask artists is why. That's something that I'm really particularly interested in when I'm talking to people about the work that they do, and why is it that you do what you do, basically?
We're compelled to do it. There's a combination of having a gift from above, and a compulsion. In other words, you know, if you're Michelangelo, you know, he walks up to a hunk of marble, you know, the size of a room, basically. It says, "That's my David." I can totally see it. In other words, the moment of his most greatest joy is stumbling upon the hunk of marble. It's not chipping away at it until it becomes the statue we know as David. But the artist has this ability to see into a rock completely and utterly to the point where they reach nirvana. Like joy is in that moment. The world's joy is seeing it when it's done. Believe me, the guy lived thousands of years before I was born, but he's not jumping around for joy when Michelangelo was unveiled. You know what I mean? But for him, the whole thing is over. I mean, it's ended. And the artist comes in before the beginning, if you follow what I'm saying.
Right, yeah, before the beginning.
Right, and the world comes in after he's exhausted the possibility. The comic strip that I do has nowhere near been exhausted. I haven't exhausted the possibilities. What excites me about Jumpstart, and people, you know, often kids especially, say, how can you think of something? What if you can't think of something every day? And I don't think of myself as a guy with thousands of ideas just itching to go. It's not that. It's just that I'm excited about the rock. I'm excited about the rock, and I know that if I get out my chisel and my hammer, I know what's in there. It's not like I'm sitting here wondering what's inside the rock. Michelangelo's not wondering if he's right or wrong. He sees the rock, and that's it. He's like, there it is. Now, you know, about 800 hours later, the world will see. I know I have the ability to give the world the final product exactly like I've illustrated with that metaphor. So I'm not wondering or fearful of, here it is, another day. Now I have to come up with something. I'm not trying to come up with anything. I found my rock. Does that make any sense?
No, that makes sense. I think a lot of people get caught up in, especially writers in particular, because, I got into making my comic, because I wanted to make cartoons for TV, and it kind of just branched from that. And then I got into filmmaking for the writing, and just as a writer, I know that people get caught up in who has the most ideas, and if they don't have enough ideas, even in grad school right now, they're teaching us that we need to have things up our sleeve if we want to have a successful career.
There's some truth in that, by the way.
I think there is some truth, but what you said gave me some more clarity on just how you can have a different approach to it, because it almost sounds a little bit more organic and natural the way you go about it, just with having that eye for what you're doing and knowing, and having the idea that there are endless possibilities where that can go. I think that's enough motivation to keep you going.
Right.
365. So.
Yeah, cartoon strips, comic strips, very different than what's on TV in terms of animation and movies and stuff. My comic strip is a very gradual unveiling. It's a very slow. I'm pulling back the curtain very slowly, just a little bit at a time. And I've had 27 years to develop these characters. And what I've grown, the way I've grown as a cartoonist over the 27 years is I've allowed my characters, because there's so much time being invested in them, decades, almost 3 decades invested in them. I have now the trust. This is going to sound really crazy to the listening audience, but I've developed an ear for my characters now that I didn't have as a young man. When I got syndicated, I was 26. I was the youngest cartoonist in the country at the time. And at that time, I just cared about being funny. I just cared about coming up with gag scripts. I was obsessed and overly concerned with the deadline of being a daily syndicated cartoonist. Now, I'm almost completely oblivious to the passing of time and what day it is and what, all this other kind of stuff. It doesn't concern me at all. I'm actually just living a normal life, and I have an ongoing ear for my characters. I'm always, no matter where I am, no matter what I'm doing, I'm thinking, wow, I can really develop Marcy if I use that information I learned today.
Yeah, it's like you're taking information and you're thinking about what they would do or what they would say with it. Yeah, I can.
It's not for me to drive the vehicle. It's actually just for them. Like I hate to say it, but I'm a passenger in a very slow-moving vehicle here. And they're steering it. They're driving it. They're like, well, today would be a good day for the audience to know about this, about me. They don't know this yet. All these years you haven't talked about this. And they, believe it or not, listen, I don't know how other cartoonists feel about what they do. I do know that some cartoonists don't have this phenomenon I'm about to describe to you, but I literally am awakened by my characters at night. I literally just wake up. I have a cool idea, like tapping me almost on the shoulder, like, this would be great. I'm just like going, it's 4 o'clock in the morning. Like, I scribble this stuff down, but I'm like annoyed. I'm just like, what? And then I look at it in the morning, and it sucks. Like, it's terrible. I'm just like going, what? But I don't throw it away. I don't throw it away. I just say, I have no idea what that is. I don't know why this was happening to me last night. It's literal, Sam. I've had this experience a year later. Look at that same idea. And it's not just a comic. That's the problem. Sometimes it's a portal. It's an opening up of a long dialogue, a long explanation. So I'm just like, wow, I'm so happy I didn't throw that away. You know what I'm trying to say? It's very strange. I don't want to freak anybody out here.
No, I understand.
Well, it sounds to me like you have a destiny that's going on within inside of you. It's something that you were born to do. Nobody could teach that. what you had, what your mother cultivated it at the time, an early stage in your life where it was so impressionable that it just took you over at that time.
Right.
Because that's all it takes. And something else you said that I don't know if you'd have reached. You said I don't know if I'd have reached this height if my mother hadn't passed and went on. Because you're not really now. It's hard sometimes for us to do for ourselves. It's
right.
But see, when I'm doing it for someone else, someone else is really real in my life. It becomes real to me. I have a goal to set, and I can relate to what you're saying. And I hope that somebody else can too, because it's deep. But if you really want to acknowledge what's going on, you could see what Rob is saying. Rob, I like to read it a little bit. For those who don't know, I want to read something about you, people that can get more of an understanding. Rob Armstrong's Jumpstart strip comic offers an authentic, positive representation of middle-class African Americans. Joe and Marcy Cobb are a young African American couple trying to balance their careers. He's a police officer, she's a nurse. With a loving marriage and warm family life shared with their young daughter, Sunny, toddler son, JoJo, and twins, Tommy and Teddy, and all the unexpected excitement they bring to Jumpstart. Rob is one of a handful of syndicated African American cartoonists and brings a unique perspective to his strip with art storylines that are upbeat, fun, and undeniably realistic. Jumpstart always has offered an authentic, positive representation of middle-class African Americans with charm and insight born of personal experience. Is that something to behold? By the way, we'll be looking at you. I don't know if you could see. Well, you won't be able to see it till later. But we're looking at you. David brought in what did you bring in?
Video.
A video of you, and as you are doing your work, and you're sitting here doing. As you're working on your storyboard, we're looking at it.
A YouTube video.
Oh.
So.
Is that something from off YouTube or something?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, Rob, I have a question, something maybe you could share, because when reading your book, I really liked the chutzpah you had at a young age when you walked into one of the newspapers and just basically got them to print one of your comics. Maybe you could share that a little bit.
Yeah, again, this is the backstory of how I sold something to the Philadelphia Tribune. When I was in high school, and like I said, it was a very good school. It just, it still is, and I'm still involved with the school. They did things that weren't ordinarily done, and so they had a 3-week period where you didn't have to go to school at all, as long as you pursued your career. And then you had to write an essay about it when you got back to school in 3 weeks. It was called the mini term. They don't do the mini term, and they have something else they do now, but that was very special. And I spent my 3 weeks with a cartoonist named Signe Wilkinson. She's going on to win the Pulitzer. She's a great friend of mine now. But I was young. She was young. She was slightly, she was an adult, and I was a kid. And she helped me, and she really took the time to be negative to me. I don't know how to exactly express this, but too much positivity to a kid with talent when they're super young like that is not good. A kid needs rough critiques, a critique that expresses the real world and how they're going to receive your work. In other words, she had a voice that was almost identical to the editors in town, the people who would be judging or potentially hiring me. That's how she spoke. That's what she did for a living. She wasn't trying to be my friend. She's like, look, this isn't ready, but you can get it ready. Here's what you have to do. So she beat me up for 3 weeks. I got an A on that mini-term essay. But more importantly, I had a little collection of expert work. So I went into the Philadelphia Tribune, and I said, I want to speak to your managing editor. I didn't know this guy. I didn't make a pre-appointment. I said, I have to speak to the manager. I got in front of this guy and said, I've been reading your newspaper, and I noticed there's no cartoons. And he said, well, no one's contributing anything like that to the Tribune. I said, well, they're contributing at the Philadelphia Inquirer and the Daily News. He said, well, no one's around here doing that. I said, well, I'm here. And I said, listen, let me show you what a real political cartoon looks like. From the African American perspective, this would work great in your paper. And I whipped out my work. And this guy said, when can I start running it? I said, one day. I don't know. How soon do you want to run them? Yeah, that's fine. What do you want to make? I said, give me $75 for each one of them. Like, I didn't know that was a bad price. And it was. I mean, it's a terrible price. But I went from being an amateur to a pro right in front of this man. Mm-hmm. And I was never an amateur again. Mm-hmm. Mm. So whatever it takes to go pro, if you're Kobe Bryant, I say go ahead and go pro. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. whatever it takes to get in the game, what I suggest is, if you're ready, if you got a better game than the people who are you're going to be confronted with, you're faced with, and get in the game. You know what I mean? I was really young to be doing it, but it worked, and I got the confidence I needed to pursue a daily strip in college, which is only 2 years away. So by the time I got into Syracuse, I had a very similar experience with the editor of the Daily Orange, very similar. Mm-hmm. But in that space of time between 17 and 19, my mother passed away. Mm. So the work I showed this guy in college was much harsher, much more filled with the rage. It wasn't even grief, man. When I lost my mom, I was a rage-filled young black man. Like, I had an issue with everything. And if I didn't express it to people, they definitely saw it when I created something. Hmm. I tried to be a nice guy, but I was filled with rage. In fact, it had gotten to the point where I became aware that in college, I stopped caring about others. Like, I just wanted to do my comic strip, womanize. I was at Syracuse being a womanizer and stuff, and by the time my senior year came around, it hit. I didn't even know it. I mean, I had gotten into all kind of trouble behind women. I'm a nice person, all that, but I got in a fight over a girl. I was in the campus health clinic a lot. All kinds of, I was like, every time I turned around, I'm like, I'm back in the clinic. But it didn't hit me that it was because I was becoming disassociated. I didn't have compassion for anyone. So that's what, when you're a womanizer, you don't feel anything for your girlfriend. You're just like bouncing around, and it started to hit me like a ton of bricks. I'm too angry for my own good. Like but the comic strip I did was through the roof. I did this comic called Hector that took off, and I'm telling you, I would not be syndicated today if it was not for that comic strip. Mm-hmm. Hector just captured the imagination of kids that age, with lots of kids, 19, 20, are angry, like filled with the same exact rage I was filled with. So they connected to Hector. And I remember just like, when I became aware that I was like this, I didn't care about people, you know what I mean? I had good friends, great friends and stuff, and great girlfriends, by the way. I might have been messing around too much, but I was somewhat aware of that. I had great girlfriends. Like, they would sit and watch me draw and not bother me. And I was like, wow, I'm not nice to people. And that's when I accepted God. Like, I remember praying to God, I said, God, you have to come into my life. I don't want to leave this campus, go into the world, and not be a good man. And I remember in my senior year accepting Christ, man.
Okay. Brother, one thing you said that stood out to me, just because you have a gift, that don't mean you don't have to work at it.
Right.
You have a gift, and it's a gift. But you have to go out and get it. You have to go out and cultivate your gift. You have to make sure that it gets seen. It's up to you. God gives us all these things.
Right.
But he tells us to go out and tell the world
right
about it.
Yeah, I think that it's a very important point you're making. When you're gifted, and I'm in Los Angeles, man. Everybody you meet, got a talent.
Yeah.
They're singers and writers and stuff. But the problem is, you have to be. I believe, first of all, this is my convictions now speaking. I don't want to preach to people who don't want to be preached to, but I do want to express my own conviction. I believe that you have to be aware of where your gift came from, first of all. Mm-hmm. And once you're aware of that, understand the role you have to play to fulfill this promise. You have an obligation to now contribute something to the world that the world could not possibly get from anyone else. And I don't want this to sound arrogant, but my gift is only for me. If I don't do anything with it, it will shrink and go away. It'll disintegrate. It's not like I don't do something with it and God grabs it and gives it to another dude. He's given me everything I have, including all of these terrible things in my life. Mm-hmm. All the tragedy. Like, there's nothing greater than tragedy to help you. Like, exactly. Tragedy is our greatest gift. Like, the things we are struggling with, our adversity. We're black men. We're nervous. Driving down the street. What if the cop stops me? This, that, and blah, blah, blah. All of these things are a part of God's gift to us. Sounds crazy. Some of us have literally paid the ultimate price, sacrificing our lives out here. But when I was stopped, and listen, I'm a black man, I'm stopped too. You know what I mean? When I'm stopped, I'm like, look, officer, you got the wrong guy. First of all, I fit the description of a suspect. I said, look, okay. I'm a hugely successful comic strip creator. I'm the most widely syndicated African American who's ever lived. You definitely have the wrong guy. The first thing I did with that cop is say, you just arrested an important human being. I understand, Black Lives Matter and all. Like, that ain't even my battle cry. My battle cry is, you picked the wrong dude. Okay? I got to keep this man's hand off the gun. Okay? So I'm like, look, I'm a cartoonist. I'm in the Los Angeles Times and about 399 other newspapers. I'm going to reach into my backpack and show you the work I do. Ironically, the main character is a police officer. I said, listen, don't overreact. I'm about to reach into my backpack. And you gotta understand, these are young dudes, too. It's a young boy, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I'm around young people all the time. I speak to about 80,000 young people a year through my college visits and all other kinds. So I'm like not unfamiliar with how young people respond to things, what to say to them, okay? So I'm like, listen, man, don't shoot, okay? Just relax for a second. I'm about to show you what I did. I show you this, you're going to want my autograph, man. So he was like, really? I said, yeah, just calm down for a second. So I reached in my backpack, pulled out, like half of me go to the FedEx office, big copies of my strip. And I'm like, this is what I do. He was like, wow, man. I was like, yeah, man, wow is right. He said, if you notice, I didn't pull my gun out on you. I said, yeah, man, proud of you, man.
I'm proud of you, man.
Yeah, proud of you, little dude. I'm like, look, man, I got to go. I got a deadline right now. I got to get out of here. Why don't you go and chase that dude who looks like me? Poor guy, looking like me.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Chase him. Right now he's getting away and messing around with me. He said, all right.
You get your autograph?
No, he didn't want my autograph. I was overstating the point. I'm trying to.
Right.
What I'm trying to say is, everybody is somebody. Mm-hmm. To tell these people, that's not even cops. Everybody, tell them who you are.
Oh my.
I get it. Modesty, humility. Listen, I ain't gonna be. Look, there's a time for that, okay? And other times, you gotta tell them who you are.
That's right.
Yeah, you gotta let them know sometimes.
All right, Rob. Sam had mentioned that he might have to be leaving soon, so I'm gonna give him some final words.
Sam is leaving?
Oh yeah, I gotta go. I'm meeting with some filmmakers. We're trying to get this documentary to work to fly out to Michigan pretty soon.
Now he's got to go to the filmmakers. Listen to this. Unbelievable. All right, man. Listen, I didn't mean to overtalk too much, but there's a lot I want to express. I got a few minutes on this show.
Oh, you think so?
I was very excited to get this call, and I go on and on and on. Sorry about that.
Well, no, it's all good. Actually, I feel like staying a little bit longer because it's been a good conversation. So
he's going to. Hey, Rob, can you just please mention briefly how Charles Schulz and Maury Turner, two legendary comics cartoonists, helped you and mentored you, inspired you?
Yeah, I met around the same time that I was coming out of school. Actually, about 2 years had gone by. I was out of college and working in the ad business. And I was still walking around trying to sell comics here and there. And I walked into the Daily News in Philadelphia, hoping to do the same thing I had done at the Tribune. But this guy, the editor there, said, "You need to talk to Maury Turner." He slid Maury Turner's phone number across the table. For people who don't know this man, never heard of him. If you're a young filmmaker like Sam, this will be like somebody sliding Steven Spielberg's phone number to you. Wow. Like, I was like, what? He said, yeah, you need to call Maury Turner. Have you ever heard of him? I was like, have I ever heard of it? First of all, I could draw these characters from memory. That's how well I knew Maury Turner. He said he's the nicest guy in the world. Give him a call. He can help you. I can't really help you, but he can help. It was essentially my big break. Now, I don't want anyone hearing this to think that a big break is something preconceived. It doesn't mean that this happened on a Wednesday and on Thursday I was in the business. This big break moment was still 2 years from manifestation into anything. So, but I was like, oh my God! I called Maury Turner the next morning. He's the first African American to have a syndicated comic strip ever in the whole country, and super talented dude, really, really smart brother, right? So I called him first thing in the morning, really excited, and he said, "Who's this?" I said, "Listen, my name is Rob Armstrong, and I was given your name by the editor of the Daily News. And I know you're busy." He's like, "Actually, I'm not busy. I'm asleep." I said, "Oh my goodness, I'm so sorry you're asleep." He said, "Do you know what time it is?" I said, "Yeah, it's 9 o'clock in the morning." He said, "I'm in Sacramento, California. It's 6 o'clock in the morning."
Oh yeah.
I had never even. I hate to say this. It sounds like I was an idiot, but I was in my 20s. But I didn't know it. I had never been anywhere. You know what I mean? So I was like, what? He's like, look, let me get up, take a shower and stuff. I'll call you back, I promise. And he did. So anyway, he shortly after that, like, he started to react to my work. This is the reason I read people's stuff. Like, if Maury Turner wasn't like this, I'd be this guy now who, kids would approach, and I'd be like, I'm busy, I'm a big shot, and I'm not reading that. Like, I would totally be, trust me, I'd be like that. Maury Turner would react to my stuff whenever I sent him stuff. And at one point he said, "Man, this is hot, brother." Like, it was real cool, like a jazz musician almost. Like, he talked like he was in the jazz world, actually. He was like, "Hey, man, Cat, this is some cool stuff, Cat. I'm telling you right now, brother, you got to get on this. You got to send." So he was doing that with me. I was just like, what? He said, "Yeah, man, why don't you come to Ohio? Me and my boys are getting together." And I went to Ohio to meet him, and I was sitting there with him and all these cats from Ebony Magazine. Buck Brown was alive then. Buck Brown worked for Playboy Magazine, did that Granny character. Beautiful artwork. I don't want to talk about what Granny was up to, but the guy was a brilliant artist. You know what I mean? Just dirty pictures, and like, you would think, first of all, you never know he was a black dude. Granny was this white character, this 20-year-old white lady. I'm just like, "You're Buck Brown?" I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. He said, "Yeah, I'm doing dirty pictures, man." I was like, I said, all right, whatever. So I had him and just all of these dudes. It was like a group of 10 of us, and trying to put together a black syndicate. And I was just like, this is a great idea. And shortly after that, Maury reached out to me and said, "You shouldn't be a part of what we're doing, man." I was wait, you kicking me out of the group? What do you mean? He said, you ready for the big time, brother. You should be doing the real thing. You should do the white syndicate. I was like, what? He said, yeah, man. And this guy who was in the group was a Jewish dude, rest of his soul, Mark Cohen. Mark Cohen was best friends with Maury. And Mark said, hey, Rob, yeah, me and Maury are talking, man. I'm going to throw you out of this. But I sent your stuff to United Feature Syndicate. And he sent my stuff to this dude named George People, who was Charles Schultz's editor at United Feature Syndicate. And he said, you're going to be getting a call from United Feature. You guys, I honestly did not think. I mean, this sounds exciting now, but I was upset that these dudes were throwing me out. I couldn't wait to get past it. I wasn't thinking this is my big break or anything. I was like, I can't believe these guys are throwing me out of the group. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And, and this dude from United Feature Syndicate called me. I know you don't even believe what I'm saying. I'm hearing from pros, you're better than we are. You need to be doing blah, 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 and I should be thrilled. I'm telling you right now, I was like, this is terrible. I've done something to piss them off. But, what did I do to them? What the heck? It's a young man's mind. You follow what I'm saying? At the age I am now, you know what I mean? So I was like doing that young man thing, like kicking myself. And I got a call from the syndicate, from Charles Schultz's editor, his other editor, Sarah Gillespie. And she said, can you come to New York? I want to talk to you about your strip. And I'm just like, sure. Like, what do you want to talk about? Like, I still didn't get it. So I get to New York. She's like, yeah, you still need work here and there and blah, blah, blah. We're going to work with you, though. We're going to work with you. I'm like, wow. I'm syndicated. So I'm syndicated now. She's like, no, you're not syndicated. But we're going to fax back in the days of fax. I'm going to fax back and forth, tighten this thing up. And one day she faxed me and was like, can you get a lawyer here? You come with a lawyer. And that's when I signed my deal. And, the whole thing from Maury to that point, Maury happened in 87, and then I was sitting there with them toward the end of 1988. You know what I mean? Then in 1989, October, I signed that deal. So a big break for anyone listening, wondering what it feels like. It doesn't feel like anything. It feels like, well, it's not there yet. You know what I mean? You need to do this, and you also need to do that. In other words, your big break feels exactly like my career feels. I have something to do career-wise every single day. It's not like no point have I ever sat down in my office and exhaled. Follow what I'm saying?
It's like it's just now starting.
Just starting.
Yeah.
Here I am. I'm 27 years into it. I'm still sitting there like a crazed maniac. You know what I mean?
And didn't Charles Schultz pay you a supreme honor by with one of his characters? Yeah.
So the Sparky Schultz thing. His friends called him Sparky. And one day he told me to call him Sparky. So it's very there's a lot of honor in that. There's a handful of people on Earth. Yeah, Sparky. That's one of these guys. It's Sparky Schultz. So he named the black character in Peanuts Franklin Armstrong. He named Franklin Armstrong around 1998. So when I signed my deal, when it was all a done deal, I got to admit it was an exciting day. And I remember sitting in my editor's office, Sarah's office, and I said, listen, do you think you could put me in contact with Charles Schultz? And she's like, no. I said, wow. Okay, listen, if you ever see him, just tell him I would love to meet him one day. She said, this is so sad. I don't want to be mean to you, but I don't see him that much. The guy lives in Santa Rosa, California. We have conversations about his work. But I tell you what I'll do. I will send a cartoon that you do to him. How's that? So she did it, and then he sent me a peanut strip back. Wow. And I was like, what? This thing is huge. First of all, it's 3 times the size of a normal comic. It's like a poster. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I was like, you've got to be kidding me. And then he took me very nice notes, and he seemed to be a genuine fan of my work, which, frankly, I just thought he was being polite. I didn't think about it too much. But I ended up meeting him the first time, about a year after that, through a series of weird, I won't bore you with the story, but I was ended up at his studio, Santa Rosa, through that Jewish man, Mark Cohen, from the Maury Turner piece. Mm-hmm. So Mark invited me out there. He was real tight with him. I walked into Charles Schultz's office, and that cartoon I had sent him was framed and hanging in his office. And his office was spartan. There was almost nothing else in there. He had a really simple way of working. He had a wooden desk, a wooden drawing table, a bookshelf, a sofa, and this Jumpstart strip. Literally, that's all he had in his office. So I was like, I'm thinking, what is that doing in here? Like, I honestly wasn't getting it still. And he said, Rob, you have great characters in your strip. You have the possibilities are endless. Just remember, this is your strip, and the syndicate has nothing to do with it. I know you're very excited to be a syndicated cartoon, but those people, they're not cartoonists. They don't have any gift. You have it. Don't forget that. And that's the advice. The guy didn't sit around being my mentor. That was the only advice he ever gave. The only advice I need to hear. It's the only advice I go back to now. And that was it. The next couple of times we talked or hung out, we had dinner somewhere. We just had a normal relationship. We didn't talk about being a cartoonist anymore after that. That was it. You know what I mean?
My. Okay. Well, Brother Armstrong has been such a delightful, interesting, informative, spiritual adventure.
I appreciate it, brother. I really enjoyed being on your show. It's a great show.
And I would like to meet you and talk more about these things. We're here in L.A. together, and we'll be...
I want to come into the studio, man. Let's plan it.
Hey, I don't know why you're not here.
I know. I should have just driven over there. That's like 10 minutes.
Yeah, you could have been on the radio talking over here. Come on over here, man. I don't know why you ain't here, but you will be here.
All right, definitely.
That's for sure.
Keep that in, man.
I want to appreciate. I want on behalf of our staff and everybody that's listening, I appreciate you taking the time to talk to Brother Sam here. I think he got a lot out of it. And
yeah, definitely. Well, thank you, Robin. Also, I was wondering if, maybe I can ask David, but for your email address or something, I can send you maybe copies of my comic strip or links to the films I've done. Or
I'm RobArmstrong.com. Anybody can email.
Oh, okay, I got you. I'll do that.
I ain't hard to find, man.
All right, for sure. Yeah, some people are untouchable nowadays, but thank you, though, Rob. I appreciate that.
You're welcome, brother. I'm very proud of you. Keep it up.
All right, my brother. We'll be in touch with you, though. You'll be hearing from us real soon.
Excellent.
Okay? And God bless you and continue to do what you do. And we all love you, brother.
Love you, too, man. Thanks for having me.
All right, then. You take care.
Bye-bye.
So we'll be right back on the Leon Watkins Show. Our break will be short.
There's a set going strong, a lot of things going on. The man of the hour has an air of great power. The dudes have envied him for so long. Oh, Superfly, you're gonna make your fortune by and by. But if you lose, don't ask no questions why. The only game you know is do or die. Hard to understand, but a hell of a man. This cat of the slum had a mind and wasn't dumb, but a weakness was shown, cause his hustle was wrong. His mind was his own, but the man lived alone. Ooh, Superfly. You're gonna make your fortune by and by. But if you lose, don't ask no questions why. The only game you know is do or die. The game he plays for keys. Hustling times in ghetto streets, trying to get over. That's what they're trying to do, y'all. Taking all that he can take, gambling with the odds of fate, trying to get over, trying to get over, trying to get over.
Ladies and gentlemen, Bob Armstrong, Jump Start Comic Strip, syndicated all over the United States. He's just our guest. I'd like to thank him. I mean, it was so interesting, the thing that he did with a comic strip. He's all over the world. Just because he had a dream, a vision that he stuck with. The young people don't understand that if you got something, even if it is a gift, you got to work it. It's not going to work you. You have to go out and do what you have to do. And he did it. And I'm so glad that he was on our show, and he will be back. He'll be in the studio the next time he comes. What do you think about this, Dawn?
I thought it was actually amazing.
Mm-hmm. And that's it?
No, I thought it was very insightful. Just hearing like his beginnings and how things can happen in an instance, and how that proper preparation, and just if somebody of his stature, he still experienced adversities, and just him talking about Maury Turner, and how he compared getting that number being passed along, just like Steven Spielberg. It's just like, wow, it's so good to see African American men. Black man doing something.
That's the key. And he's willing to give back. I mean, this is one thing I give him credit. He's trying to give back. He's trying to not just, like he said, just keep it for himself, become a superstar or whatever, and that's all he shoots for. He's trying to share. So I just want to thank him again for that. And it rolls right into what we're doing with the Joe Beck story and where it is. The director said that they've got the B-roll together. They got everything now. The editing is already almost finished. And one of the soon we'll be telling you that the whole thing is done. And it's just a trailer. Let me get that straight. But it's giving you more of an understanding what this story is about. You get a scene out of it, and the scene is really dynamic. And you'll be able to tell this story at this time in America and this time in the world. It's really a timely kind of thing, and I can't wait for it to get started. I was talking to Joe Beck, and she's just so thrilled and appreciative that this thing could be done, that her life would be put on Front Street, not because she's trying to get rich off of it, but because the story she feels has to be told. And I do too. I think it should be told. It's something that you'll never forget, I guarantee you. Guarantee you about that. You never forget it.
Who were some of the comics that you looked at? Or did you ever read any comics growing up?
I did. Mutt and Jeff. You ever know about Mutt? Mutt and Jeff was about Mutt was real tall and Jeff was real short. And it was about the adventures of what they did. It was funny because of for one thing, they're friends, and then one of them was the height difference. And what was another one I did? Beetle was in the Army. He's a funny guy too. The Lone Ranger.
Lone Ranger.
I used to read comics every day.
I remember sometimes for Christmas we would use a newspaper in the comic section and wrap gifts with that. I thought it was so nice.
We used to keep up with, see what he's doing. We used to keep up with them strips. We would know what's going on. It's because it was like going to you had to go to the movies to get stuff what you got now. Okay, they have the green Harnett Easter Glob, but see, it'd have series. It'd only be on so long, but you got to come back next week to see it. See, and the same thing with the comic strips. You have to wait to get the fit. It goes the line. It was fun though, because you really to keep up with that. So, first of all, I'm doing this because I have to. I just want to thank God for our show today. It was very fantastic, and I hope God gets glory from it, and that we too were safe and sound coming here today, and I thank Him for that. Mm-hmm. And now what we got next week? What is your schedule?
I'm out of town next week. I'll be in Ashland, Oregon at the Oregon Shakespeare Festival.
Does that mean you're not going to be here?
I'll call in, though. I'll try to call in from Ashland, Oregon. Yes.
And wait a minute, he's not finished.
And
then when you going again?
What?
What? When are you going to again? You're not through. You're going to be going 2 weeks, aren't you?
1 week. No, I'll be back here. I'll be back.
And then you're going again, right?
And then I'm going away again. Yeah,
that's right.
Yes, I am. Yeah, it's August. But Leon, I know you.
August. What month is it? This is August?
Yes.
What do you mean it's August? When are you leaving again?
In the last day of August.
That's what I'm saying. This is August.
Oh, right. Yeah.
So where you going to tell us?
Then I'm going to the Bay Area, San Francisco, the Bay Area.
Oh, good, okay.
Yeah.
One of these days I'm gonna be saying that.
Oh, yeah. You will. We'll go together sometime. I'll give you the grand tour.
Oh, we go together when I'm going, but when you going, I can't. It ain't go together.
Hey, you know what I think we should do? We should drive up to Santa Rosa to go to the Charles Schultz Museum.
We can talk about it. Yeah, I like to do that.
It's very nice, and that table that Rob was describing, the wooden table, and the office setting, they've reduplicated it. I didn't think to see whether his comic strip was still on the wall, but they have the exact duplicate of his office there.
Well, okay. Anything next week?
It's going to be a Leon Watkins show. I'm sure it'll be a fantastic show.
I hope everybody enjoyed themselves today as much as I did. I hope you've helped somebody, and I hope that we can all be together. Can't we all just get along? Can we all just get along? Hit it!
Are we Aretha or Curtis?
See,
which one we going to do?
Who?
Aretha or Curtis?
Are people who are darker than blue?
Or Chain of Fools?
You call it.
This right here, Mommy and my mama.
Okay, we're gone.
See you next week.
See you next week. We'll see you next week with a brand new show. See you next week. Well, yes, sir. All right, we're going to let Aretha take us on out. Show. See you later.
Too strong, I'm headed to you. Chain, chain, chain.